Good morning, afternoon, or evening, and welcome to the second installment of the A24 0AD potential updates. Now, this installment is actually focused on a faction that were added for Alpha 23. I think it's fair to say they're pretty much everyone's least favourite faction. And for that reason, I'm interested to see what's been proposed in order to make this faction, the Kushites, less Kushite and more Kush awesome. So, let's dive in. So as we've established, the Kushites are probably the weakest faction in the game. They lack any siege weapons or slingers, and while they do have a wide range of soldiers available, they rely heavily on mercenaries to fill out their army. So what changes do the developers have in store to improve this widely maligned faction? Well, we're going to find out right now. Now first up is the idea that Axemen will be properly codified as a unit type. This will immediately affect the Kushites and the Persians, but also means that in future, any civilization has the potential to access cavalry and infantry citizen soldiers, as well as cavalry and infantry champion axemen. There will also be a hero, and he could conceivably be allocated anywhere. However, for Alpha 24, it appears that just 2 units will be redefined to fit the stats of an axeman. These units are the Persian citizen soldier sword cavalry, and the Kushite Meroitic Temple Guard champion unit. The Kushite champ is currently supposed to be an axeman anyway, so adding this template, well, it just makes a little sense. So, what does the template look like? Well, if you compare to the current swordsman template, it gives you a slight increase in their hack attack, and units will also be given crush attack at 1/3 of the value of the hack. They will also gain 1 in both hack and pierce armor, but they will see their attack repetition decreased from 0.75 seconds to 1 second per attack. This basically means that they're better against siege weapons and buildings than swordsmen, but against other soldiers the reduction in attack repetition speed needs to be balanced against their increased hack attack and increased armor, and that makes it less clear-cut. They also see their food cost removed, and that's redistributed amongst wood and metal. The only other slight negative is that the current 1.3 multiplier bonus against heroes will be removed, so that's a little sad. Anyway, enough of the abstract discussion. Let's have a look at the stats. As this is a Kushite special, we'll be focusing only on the champion axeman. Now, in terms of my verdict, I think this is a vital move in making this faction worth playing. Currently, they're just a bit weak and they lack any siege weapons, and even their camel archers are available too late in the game to really make them as useful as they should be. So, all in all, I'm all in on this one. I think it's a great move, and so I give it a big thumbs up. Now this second change, which actually comprises of 2 changes, is a huge step towards making the Kushites a faction to be feared rather than one that's laughed out of the room, and it gives them a huge advantage over other factions during Phase 2. So let's have a look at the 2 changes quickly. Now the first is fairly minor, but it will still be a big boost, as it knocks off 1/4 of the time it takes to build either of the Kushite embassies, which are the Nuba village and the Blemya camp. So it reduces their build time from 200 seconds to 150, and that means that you can start recruiting mercenaries more quickly than you could before. The second part of the change, however, is where the real magic comes in, and it's that these buildings will now be allowed to be built in neutral territory. Now this isn't quite as good as the Romans' entrenched army camp, as it can't be built in your enemy's territory, but on the flip side it is available a phase earlier. So to sum up, it means that Kushites have a Phase 2 building, well in fact 2 Phase 2 buildings, that can be built anywhere on the map that's not under your enemy's control, and they cost just 100 each of wood and metal. Now this would be fantastic for sneak attacks to delay your enemy's development before they hit Phase 3 and then they really take territorial command of their half of the map. So my verdict is that this is another great couple of ideas to really improve the factions. In fact, whoever comes up with these deserves a medal, and also to really be consulted at the start, as Kush wouldn't be everyone's feared random draw if these changes had been implemented right at the beginning. So anyway, again, it is a big thumbs up from me. So Archery Tradition is something that's currently only available for Mauryaans and Persians, and it's a bonus that makes your archers shoot further with more accuracy and hugely reduces the amount of time it takes to train any archery unit, albeit they do lose quite a few hit points as well. Now this amendment will reduce the food cost of this upgrade to 0 while increasing the metal cost ever so slightly from 250 to 300. However, the amendment to what you get for that money is that you no longer see a 20% reduction in health for your soldiers, instead it's just 10%. That means that a Phase 3 infantry archer will see their health fall from 72 to 65 rather than the previous 58, and the 10 seconds training time for a single archer becomes just 9 seconds. Finally, the additional range goes down from 10 meters to 8, but the accuracy improvement stays consistent. So not massive changes, but enough to notice, and obviously expanding the number of factions that can have this upgrade is a big step. And with it, another non-standard feature is added to the Kushites' armory. Once again, I have to give credit to the people that came up with these amendments. Now, Archery Tradition has always been a double-edged sword for me, as the reduced training time, which is brilliant, does however lead to a crazy reduction in health, and it means your soldiers will just die incredibly quickly, assuming that is anyone can get anywhere near them, or if they can just launch a catapult into them. So making the training time reduction a little less severe in exchange for getting that tiny bit of extra health, I think is a win for me. Also, I really think this is exactly the kind of unique upgrade that can really help a kind of spammy army a bit like the Kushites, so it fits them quite well. So once again, I have to say, thumbs up for this change. And those were the big changes that will affect the Kushites should they come in. Obviously not everything will be implemented, but these ones I really hope they do, because all three of them were really great ideas. So with that, I'm going to draw another video to a close and bid you farewell for another week. I hope you enjoyed the time, and if you did, then like, subscribe, click the bell, do all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in just 7 days' time. Take care.